In the bustling animal shelter where countless stories of hope and despair intermingled, one dog's constant crying stood out. Baxter, a beautiful gray pit bull, seemed inconsolable, his whimpers echoing through the hallways. Dr. Nolan, a seasoned veterinarian, visited the shelter for a routine checkup, but found himself drawn to Baxter's kennel. Sensing that the dog's distress was more than just a longing for a home. It was only after a thorough examination that Dr. Nolan uncovered the heart-wrenching truth behind Baxter's tears, leading him to make an unexpected decision. All the staff members of the shelter where Baxter lived knew about his heartbreaking cries. It was kind of hard not to know about them, actually, as they echoed through the whole building. Frederique, one of the staff members, had addressed them to her manager many times, asking if they could get Baxter checked, but he kept refusing, saying it was just because Baxter was a drama queen. Frederique knew there could be more to it. Baxter didn't only howl, he actually cried tears as well. His eyes were covered in gooey mush from all the crying, something her manager didn't know because she was the only one who checked up on Baxter every day, giving him cuddles and drying his tears. She felt incredibly sorry for the poor animal, but didn't know what to do. One day, the shelter staff was informed that a veterinarian would be visiting to give some of the animals a routine check. Hopeful, Frederique grabbed the information sheet, looking for Baxter's name. She reviewed the list of animals 5 times before. The truth she dreaded finally sunk in. Baxter's name was not on the list. Frederique was heartbroken for him. How could her manager do this to the poor animal? Was he enjoying it or something? She shot an angry glance at him when he wasn't looking. She couldn't do more than that, as she didn't want to be fired. If she didn't work at the shelter anymore, no one would give Baxter his extra love and cuddles. No, she had to stay for him. The vet arrived when Baxter was still sleeping. He began to work down his list, going by every kennel that was on it. Little kittens recently brought in needed medicine for their sneezing. A dog required a blood test, and other animals had various needs. The vet worked quickly, and after a few hours, Frederique heard Baxter's howls. The vet was intrigued, but the manager dismissed it as a dog wanting a treat. Frederique insisted it was Baxter, a sweet pit bull, and expressed concern about his constant crying. The manager insisted nothing was wrong, distracting the vet from checking on Baxter. Throughout the day, Frederique observed Dr. Nolan's torn reactions to Baxter's cries. Later, Frederique discreetly invited Dr. Nolan to check on Baxter during the manager's break. She hoped the vet might find something treatable. When her manager confronted her, he warned her not to talk to Dr. Nolan about Baxter, threatening her job. During the break, Frederique led Dr. Nolan to Baxter's secluded kennel. She revealed that Baxter was moved away due to the manager's annoyance with his cries. Dr. Nolan and Frederique approached Baxter cautiously, entering his dimly lit kennel. Dr. Nolan knelt down, extending a gentle hand, and Baxter cautiously approached. The vet examined Baxter carefully, speaking soothingly to reassure the distressed pit. As Dr. Nolan worked, Baxter's tension eased, and the compassionate touch seemed to convey a promise of safety. Dr. Nolan continued his gentle examination, and Baxter's trust grew visibly. The initial hesitation transformed into cautious acceptance, and a small miracle occurred when Baxter's tail tentatively wagged. Frederique, witnessing this bond forming, felt her heart swell with hope. With Baxter's approval, Dr. Nolan proceeded with a more detailed examination, checking joints and examining eyes and ears. The vet's concern deepened as he observed Baxter's responses, and Frederique anxiously watched, hands clasped. Frederique, stationed by the door, remained alert to any approaching sounds. balancing the anxiety of being discovered against her commitment to Baxter. She felt her resolve strengthening despite the risks. Time seemed suspended in Baxter's kennel, with every second carrying the weight of potential discovery. Dr. Nolan worked efficiently, but couldn't rush the thorough diagnosis needed. Frederique's eyes flickered to the clock, aware of the manager's return approaching. During the examination, Dr. Nolan and Frederique exchanged whispers filled with worry. The vet expressed the need for more time, and Frederique, torn between fear and determination, sought ways to delay the manager. As Dr. Nolan palpated Baxter's abdomen, a sudden clatter in the hallway made all freeze. The tension escalated as they listened to discern whether it was the manager or routine shelter sounds. The door swung open abruptly, revealing the furious manager. The atmosphere shifted from focused care to defensive alarm. Dr. Nolan's hands froze on Baxter, who whimpered, and Frederique turned to face the manager's wrath. A moment of stillness ensued, shattered by the manager's angry demand for an explanation. His accusations were pointed at Dr. Nolan and Frederique, filled with unsaid accusations and fear. The manager stormed in, accusing Dr. Nolan of unauthorized checks and Frederique of complicity. Despite the manager's rage, Dr. Nolan remained calm and defended his actions, emphasizing Baxter's need for attention. The manager, undeterred, threatened Frederique with termination, and she complied, torn between loyalty to Baxter and the risk to her job. Frederique's departure felt like betrayal, and as she left, her mind raced for ways to continue helping. In a moment of distraction, she slipped into a storage closet, listening anxiously to the ongoing conversation outside, her heart pounding with fear and hope. Dr. Nolan's voice was steady and insistent. Baxter is in pain, and it's our duty to help him. The manager retorted, frustrated, "We have dozens of animals here. I can't justify the cost for one." Their debate clashed over perspectives, one rooted in compassion and ethical duty, the other in shelter management realities. Despite resistance, Dr. Nolan persisted, emphasizing ethical standards. Turning a blind eye to suffering is not an option. We must do what's right, not what's easy, he argued, his calm contrasting the manager's agitation. In the closet, Frederique held her breath, hanging on every word. The manager remained unyielding. "Rules and budgets are in place for a reason," he countered. "We can't make exceptions." Dr. Nolan made one final appeal. "I understand the challenges you face," he acknowledged, "but Baxter's situation is urgent. Let's work together to find a solution. Compassion doesn't have to be a casualty of budget constraints." His voice carried hope that compassion could overcome financial and bureaucratic hurdles. Finally, the manager wavered. "I need to think about this," he said. "It's not just about Baxter, it's about every animal here." He requested until tomorrow, leaving a sliver of hope. The next day, the manager reluctantly approved treatment. Dr. Nolan wasted no time creating a plan for Baxter, offering immediate relief and long-term therapy. The first dose brought cautious optimism. As days passed, small but positive signs of improvement emerged. Baxter's whimpers decreased, replaced by quiet restfulness. His eyes, once clouded with pain, revealed glimpses of his gentle spirit. The day Baxter left the shelter was bittersweet. Tears streamed down Frederique's face as she hugged him one last time. Dr. Nolan, Baxter's constant advocate and healer, decided to adopt him, ensuring Baxter's journey to a forever home filled with love and care. Baxter's transformation from a scared, pained creature to a beloved pet symbolized hope and the profound connection between humans and animals. His story left an indelible mark on the shelter, serving as a reminder that compassion can change lives. Every animal, no matter how hopeless their situation seems, deserves a chance for happiness and health. Baxter's journey from despair to hope stood as a testament to the power of love and care.